Picture the scene. A torchlit hall on the edge of the Black Sea, 2,000 years ago. Silk on the walls, snake charmers on the floor, cobras swaying up out of their baskets. And at the head of the table sits a king. A servant sets a plate of lamb down in front of him, that a guest leans over and sprinkles arsenic across the meat. Another one tips a measure of deadly nightshade into the king's wine. There's enough poison on that table now to kill the entire room. The king looks at it and smiles. He raises the cup, he toasts his guests, and he drinks every last drop. Then he eats the poisoned lamb, slow, calm, like it's nothing. The guests have gone white, not from the poison, from watching him enjoy it. Because this king swallows a little poison every single day. He's been doing it for 30 years. He's trained his own body until nothing on earth can kill him. His name is Mithradates, and being impossible to poison is exactly the thing that's about to destroy him. It starts the way all of these stories start, too perfectly. A small rich kingdom on the Black Sea, Pontus. Today it's northern Turkey. The year he's born, a comet hangs in the sky for 70 days, bright enough to see at noon. The priests read it instantly. A great one is coming. And then a prince arrives, Mithradates VI. His name means gift of the sun god. Then the universe really overdoes it. As a baby, lightning strikes his cradle. He survives. All he's left with is a small scar on his forehead. Marked by the gods, the priests decide. The chosen one. Scar on the forehead, a prophecy, a destined child. You've definitely seen this movie. So, charmed life ahead, surely? No. At a banquet, his father suddenly clutches at his own throat, falls off his chair, and dies on the floor. Poisoned. Mithradates is 14, and his prime suspect is his own mother. She has a younger son she likes better. She wants that one wearing the crown, which puts Mithradates next in line to be murdered. So he does the smartest thing a marked boy can do. He disappears. For 7 years, a palace prince lives like a wild animal, hunting, sleeping in the open, riding through the mountains for days. The legends say he even fights bears. But the bears aren't the point. The point is what he's studying out there, poison and how to survive it, because he is never going to die the way his father did. And he happens to be living in the perfect classroom for it. Vipers, aconite, nightshade, even the honey out there is toxic enough to drop a grown man. He gathers it, he tests it, he takes notes. He works out that snake venom is harmless if you swallow it. It only kills you in the blood. He learns from Scythian shamans and Persian magicians. He then begins the experiment that defines his life. He starts dosing himself. A speck of arsenic, a drop of venom, a little more the next week. The logic is simple. Teach the body the small doses, and the big one can't finish the job. And, astonishingly, it kind of works. Today, we even have a word for it, hormesis. Out of years of this, he builds one thing, a universal antidote. He calls it the Mithradate. Over 50 ingredients, bound together with honey, rolled into a pill the size of an almond. He swallows one every morning of his life. The full recipe? He takes that to the grave, on purpose. At around 20, he backs out of the wilderness, hard, calm, and basically immune to anything you could hide in a drink. He takes his throne back almost without a fight. Then he invites his mother and brother to dinner. Best wine, finest fruit, honey cakes for dessert. With a dose of arsenic, he's measured down to the gram. By midnight, the throne has no other claimants. The poison boy is now the poison king. Now skip ahead 25 years, because he turns out to be very good at this. He triples the kingdom. He owns the Black Sea. Pirate fleets work for him. He speaks 22 languages, enough to talk to every ambassador in their own tongue. And at every feast, the poison trick again. Cup raised, not a flinch. But underneath all of it sits one enormous grudge. He hates Rome. Rome runs the East like an ATM. Tax collectors buy the right to squeeze a province dry. Can't pay? You're sold. Thousands of people a day, straight to the slave markets. Mithradates decides he's going to be the man who ends that, and in 88 BC, he makes his move. He destroys a Roman army in a single battle. Cities throw their gates open. Crowds dress in white and greet him like a god walking in. Then he gets his hands on the Roman official who started the whole war, purely to pay off his own debts. He sits the man backwards on a donkey and parades him through the streets. And then, in a theatre, he melts a heap of gold coins over a fire and pours it, glowing, down the man's throat. The man had come for the East's gold. He got it, all of it, at once. But these are the Romans. War is the only thing they're best at. So it becomes 3 wars across 40 years. Rome sends its finest generals, one after another, and the pattern never changes. Mithradates loses badly. The world writes him off. And then he's back, again and again. You knock him down, he stands straight back up. Rome starts calling him the Hannibal of the East. But 40 years of war rots something in a person. The liberator slowly turns into the exact thing he set out to destroy, a tyrant. First, he stops trusting his generals, then his allies, then his own blood. He has a nephew killed in front of 2 armies. He poisons one of his own sons. And here's the bitter part. The betrayals are real. People do abandon him, but his only answer is more executions, which makes even more people abandon him. It feeds itself. After 3 lost wars, he's cornered in Crimea. He's over 70 years old, and he's seriously planning to invade Italy, across the Alps, Hannibal's old move. His favourite son, Pharnaces, finally says it out loud. This ends now. The son moves against him. Mithradates catches the plot, and then does something he has never once done. He forgives the traitor. It's the last mistake he ever makes. That same night, Pharnaces flips the entire camp. By dawn, the crowd outside is chanting the son's name, not the father's. Mithradates climbs to the top of his tower. He knows exactly what Rome does with captured kings. Chains, a parade, a public execution. Not him. So, he opens the hidden compartment in the hilt of his dagger. Inside is a tiny golden vial. He's carried it for this exact morning, his entire life. His 2 young daughters are up there with him. They ask to share it. He holds them while they drink. For them, it's over in seconds. Then, he swallows the rest. And nothing happens. He paces the room, trying to force it to work. He grows weak. He does not die. The man who spent 30 years making himself immune to poison cannot, on the one morning he actually needs it, poison himself. His own masterpiece keeps him alive against his will. His last words outlive him by 2,000 years. I have guarded against every poison and missed the deadliest one of all, the treachery of my own army, my friends, and my own children. He reaches for his sword to do it himself. He's too weak. He misses. So, he turns to his bodyguard and asks for help, and gets it. And here's where the story should end. It doesn't. That antidote of his, the Mithradate, becomes maybe the most successful medicine ever made. Rome translates the recipe. Then everybody wants it. Charlemagne takes it, Henry VIII, Elizabeth I. Apothecaries are still selling it in Rome in the 1980s. Read that again. The 1980s. 2,000 years after he dies in that tower, people are still swallowing a dead king's poison cure. So he did outlast death in the end. Just not in any way he would have ever chosen. If you like true stories that sound completely made up, there's a whole channel of them right here. Subscribe. The next one's worse.